With a yo-ho-ho, it's TaleOfTheToaster. Welcome back to Let's Play Inazuma 11 Go Chrono Stones Thunderflash. In the last episode, we beat the Terracotta Warriors on our way up Zhuge Liang's tower, or Dragon Road if you're going by the bottom screen. Here's a toast, a tale of the toast. That's right, but I'm going to preface this episode by saying, quite openly, almost nothing is going to happen in this episode. Now, as a marketing graduate, that is something that you're definitely not meant to say in a video that you want people to watch, but I don't want people being misled here. There will be almost nothing happening in this episode until, like, the final 5 minutes. I can't say how long this episode is because, well, I haven't finished recording it yet, have I? But this is going to be mostly just climbing the tower with very little in the way of story advancement and just doing mini games, maybe the occasional football match, but I don't really want to do football matches because I'm already over leveled, and reading the inner link, basically. So most of this episode is going to have little to see, but it's part of the game that you have to play if indeed you are playing the game yourself, and I can't exactly skip over it. This is genuinely part of the game, including this next shot on the red torch. It's easy to go for the red one first, just with the timing of these moving blocks, which is a new gimmick for these things, but if you go for the right one first, then you have plenty of time to line up the perfect shot on the blue one. You just gotta wait until there's at least 2 blocks free in your vicinity, line it up and let loose. We're going to be seeing at least 2 more of these things on the way up the tower, and they do get harder as they go along. That also means they get more time consuming as they go along, which again is not ideal for you viewers, but that's what they decided to do when making this game, so it's undeniably here. Yes indeed, let's get a move on. I completely agree, Arian. I have not even read a single line of dialogue in this episode so far. So emergency reply needed. Yes, I would definitely agree with that one. I need to say something. And of course, it'll be Adekibi. Alright, mate, no need to get all Raji. Rick, when we get back, can I check your workbook? Even you, Gabby, trying to cheat on your homework. I mean, jeez. To be honest, I have very few memories of doing homework because my school was put into special measures by Ofsted, so it didn't exactly have the best qualities in any aspect. But yeah, homework is a big part of everyone else's lives. I just kind of got away with that one, but I mean, the fact that I had a special measures school definitely reflected on my grades in the end. I think I could have done better in just about any other school in East Yorkshire, but hey ho, it all worked out in the end. Hey, Rusty, you can't be letting Dodge know about all this Ultimate 11 malarkey. Forget that little stitchy Dodge, he's just me spouting rubbish. If you say so. Man, if Dodge was a character in this main story, then him and Faye would be sounding pretty similar all of a sudden. And we've got another encounter. Football is too mainstream. Think of all the indie sports. I mean, yes, I will not deny that one of my favourite Olympic sports is water polo, but the water polo 11 I'm not sure would quite pick up in sales all that much. I mean, what other sports would you enjoy as an Inazuma 11 style game? The answer for me is tennis, because, you know, I don't want to play a tennis game because I enjoyed Inazuma 11. It was the other way around. I've told this story a couple of times on my channel, but I got into Inazuma 11 because I played Mario Power Tennis a lot on the GBA, or Mario Tennis Power Tour as it's known in America. Because that had a bunch of original characters just working their way through an RPG, leveling up, but instead of battles, you play tennis. Now we've got Rising Dragon there, which is actually a good dribbling move, but it's part of Roma's level up moveset, so I'm not interested in using it. But yeah, I also grew up playing a lot of Mario Slam basketball, but I'm not sure how... I mean, it'd be good. It would be Ibuki's game, but yeah, so football was definitely the right choice for the sport in this series. Now this mini game of lighting the torches is actually a little tricky because the left and the right torches are not all too hard. You need to kick inwards from near the center. So I will do that real fast. Just line up with the one on the right. You have to time your shots, of course. But as you can see, the way it skips in the middle is just a little bit crazy there. And if you try to line up what looks like the obvious answer, just a straight shot from there, you will not make it in. It just goes too fast. Even if you think you can time it slightly in the gap, then maybe it's possible, but I failed a lot of times trying. And the idea is that you go from the far right. That torch in the middle is a red herring. So I quite like that puzzle. It takes a bit of brain work to figure out, at the expense of also taking quite a lot more time. Anyway, only one more floor to go. We're kind of speeding through this, so let's slow it back down once again with Italy. Yeah, of course we're doing, but I mean, it's on about Ricardo naming his cats after musical notes. More cheating on homework. I'll pretend I didn't see it. You should really do your homework, Ade. Well, I would if they gave me any. I can tell you guys are up to something again, but I trust you. You always seem to do the right thing. I don't know about that one, Dodge, but poor old guy's stuck mostly studying. What a bad decision he made, going to Lunar Sea Academy. He would be part of this time-travelling adventure, maybe even getting his own Miximax, if he didn't just swap schools. And I still don't understand why Lunar Sea was the first match of the Nationals rather than the last match of the Regionals, but hey-ho, that was a topic in the last game. We don't need to talk about it now. I love that that bird says, Jaya! There was a bird outside the tower as well that says, Ni hao. I recognise a lot of Chinese greetings through having Chinese friends and also watching King of Bots, a Chinese television show equivalent to Robot Wars and BattleBots. Because I may not have much coverage on my channel about fighting robots, but I certainly do a lot of it on other people's channels. If you've ever watched NJGW, then I appear in a lot of podcasts or other related videos about mostly Robot Wars. I have my featherweight videos on the channel, and NJGW also recently released a series called BASHBOTS. There's a playlist for that on my channel if you are interested, where we are commentating video games of custom-built robots being put together and fought online in Gary's mod. So, Arion! If I can take it from the not quite goalie here. Alright, this is taking a bit of a while now. I'm skipping all animations, passing to Bylong, and Dragon Driver, please. I should really change my lineup that I've got here at the moment, because we've seen a lot of Roma and Bylong, and poor old Ricardo and Victor didn't even play in the previous match. So, hey, we got Pincer. Pincer's a random drop for that, but what level am I on now? 31. I've really quite overdone this, haven't I? Oh well, let's swap it around. I'll keep Goldie, I'll keep Bylong, and Ricardo can swap out for Roma. Actually, Goldie's all out of TP, so we will swap her for yeah, Ade. It's going to be Ade, of course. He's finally got his move for that. Some of these are optional, I will point out, but I'm certainly not doing any optional ones. Oh, hang on. Don't forget, there are healing points, so I was totally fine having Goldie where she was, but we will instead continue up the trap-filled fortress as we move into the final one of these puzzles. And it solved itself! What is this, the first chapter of Undertale? Yeah, this is your final warning. There will be something big, story-related and imposing on the other side of this door. So you only want to move on when you're ready. And certainly the majority of what happens on the other side of that door will be saved for another episode, but I'm at least going to go through it. For now, I want to dive into the info menu and show you little bits of what we haven't seen yet. So, I already showed off the player binder in France, and just show that it is slightly advancing now. We've got football bots, white deer, and the terracotta army in there. And there's this whole giant list for extra competition route ones as well. Location is getting a little bigger as well. We've got ancient China. See, this was so specific at first. We've got the Owari province in Sengoku, Japan, and then medieval France is the name here, but at least we know it was Vaucouleurs and Orléans and all those other areas. Now we're just in China. Maybe historically we don't even know where Zhuge Liang's tower was or something, but yeah, you don't find out a great deal about where we are. But the main thing I want to look at is the story menu. I'm going to go through all of these because they've actually got some nice bits of artwork, and it segments very nicely what we're doing in each chapter. Like, there's a bit of Joan of Arc. You wouldn't think that Joan's helmet has official art, but it does. And it also goes to show just how some of these chapters definitely have more to do in them. Like, chapter 4 was one of the busiest ever, whereas chapter 3, you went to a lot of different places, but there's only one key match, for example. And here we get a lot of the Blade Brothers in a row. Look at the difference. Beater's happy in that one. Beater's very mad in the other one. Slightly different artwork. And none of it has been released online. Do you know how badly I wanted Beater artwork for my layouts, and I couldn't find any? And neither could Tom Spoors. Like, I know he was the one who made all of my layouts for the start of the series, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I've been making them ever since a bit before. But basically ever since we went to the future, I've been doing them myself. But it's still using his template, so all the credit still goes to him, and he made a lot of them for me. The settings menu, what's in here? Wait, you can make the game loud. Oh, sick. I'm doing that. Right, I mean, I can't tell the difference unless it only changes when I exit the menu or something. What's... Don't show stats in command duels. So if I switch that on, it would show the move stats in command duels. Huh. Well, I would quite like to try that, actually. But it's a little bit late now, because the next match you know what, I'll go back and find a match to go and try that in. Match icons, we might as well change the other settings as well, just for the sake of seeing them, but I will certainly be turning those ones back. And I am not changing my dominant hand for the sake of this, but fine, one random encounter to see what that setting looks like. I'm intrigued now. Alright, so let's try and get into a command duel first of all. Add a kibit, of course. We'll see what his power levels are like. So it said about tapping twice. Oh, look at that. It says power 50 and spirit damage 5. Okay, I really do have to tap it twice. What's the point of that? Why can't we just have the power on display without me having to tap twice? That's really valuable information that I would want to know. So why does it involve a second tap? Like, look, power 70, stun damage 30. That's really valuable. But I just... Why is it a... What? I guess it's so you can tap on the moves to see what their power is before you click on the move. It's like, you can just use the D-pad anyway. I don't know, you know. I'd almost be tempted to put that through to a a viewer vote. What would you want? Power levels at the expense of double tapping and slightly wasting a bit of time, or just the default, but because I record so far in advance to try and keep up with an every 3 days of the week upload schedule, I don't think I would be able to get my answer in time, unfortunately. So I think I'll be going back to the default, but well, that was worth experimenting. Now we know Fortissimo Foot is a 110 power move, and I would be certainly happy if that info was just there without the need to double tap. I can't remember what the other setting I changed was, but hopefully you noticed it in there somewhere. Alright, let's change the settings back, and then we're going to see a final bit of story at the end of this one. Where am I looking? Settings. So match icons goes back to normal. Move guide goes off. And I didn't change the dominant hand, but we're keeping the audio stuff on max. Why would I not want it on max? Right then. Story returns.
Zhuge Liang, you promised you'd show yourself, so come out. If you don't come out, I'll tell everyone your mother was a panda and your ancestors sucked turtle eggs. Where did this come from? Zhuge Liang?
So, you finally made it.
You're a woman? I've been looking forward to meeting you. I want to create a new China, one that works for its people. Zhuge Liang, I ask, no, beg for your help. Lend me your strength. If we don't act, Cao Cao will rule, and he will make the people suffer. And you will lead China to a brand new golden age, is that it? Exactly. And how do you propose to use me in your grand plan? Well, it's not really set in stone yet. I just know I'll need you. Won't you help me fix China, Zhuge? You know that Cao Cao won't make China any better if we leave it to him. Liu Bei. I was always taught that Zhuge Liang was a man. Yes, well, history isn't always 100% accurate. I'm just worried about Miximaxing. How are we going to explain it to them? You don't need to explain. I already understand. Preposterous! Are you some kind of mind reader? Or is it written all over my face? Alright, Zhuge, listen to me. I want to create a land where the people can really live, not just run in fear from one horror to the next. I refuse to give up, and I need you. Please help him. Thank you, JP. I thought he was crazy too, but now I understand him, and I want you to as well. Yeah, I know he can make China better than ever. I believe in him. You're all such good friends to me. Whatever your plans are, they have nothing to do with me. No. It was a fruitless endeavour from the start. People only act in their self-interest. Don't say that, Bailong. Interesting. Something approaches. What is it? Zen Arc. Hey there, Rymanites. Did you miss me? This time I brought some friends along. They're called Zen Arts Domain, and I'd love it if we could have a little play date. So that's his proper team.
Field creation mode.
What kind of sorcery is this? I guess it's time to play some footy. Well, I suppose there's nothing else for it but for the great Clark von Wunderbar to step up to the plate and take his rightful place as...
Liu Bei, could you be our coach? Please help us win this match.
Why not? Don't try to run away. I've got the match of a lifetime in store for you. That is what we will be doing in the next episode, taking on Zen Arts Domain in front of Liu Bei and the newly met Zhuge Liang, who is a woman. And you don't know the amount of times I had to re-record episodes on the way here because I kept spoiling her gender and referring to her as a her before realizing, wait, that counts as a spoiler. Time to start the entire episode again. But that's beside the point. What's even more beside the point is that there's actually a training ground here. So we're going to ruin all of the nice music and quickly slot that in to spend 50 prestige points on Roma. The Razor's technique stat, but look at that, using the Wii Fit Trainer warrior pose. We will do that another 2 times to see if I can mess up on anybody and get some different outcomes. And then that will be it for this very sidetracked episode. Yes, it's going to be another Inner Link end slate as well, isn't it? I can smell that coming from a mile away. Eugene Peabody, this is the closest you've got to a chapter in this game, so you're going to get trained as well. Although I also kind of hope that he messes it up. Oh, no, well, that's the first time we've trained him, so of course it wasn't. One more time, and then we'll check the Inner Link and call it a day before this important match in the next episode. Alright, you're just going to raise your stats by 10. You know what? That's fine. No whoops for us on this occasion. So, there isn't anything in here anyway. In the next episode, we'll take on Zen Arts Domain, TTFN.